You want me to fill it out? You want me to whether you want them or not, they're gonna submit it. And I'll start reading. The reason. Yes.
All right, we're going to call to order the Glades County Board of County Commissioners regular meeting for Tuesday, August 13th, 2024 at 9 a.m. We'll have the prayer by Commissioner Sapp and the pledge by Commissioner Whidden. Would everybody please rise?
Dear Heavenly Father, humbly we come before you this morning, giving you thanks for another beautiful day. I ask you to be with us today, Lord, as we conduct county business, that the decisions we make will be pleasing in your sight and beneficial to all our constituents. I thank you, Lord, for the opportunity to be here. I thank you for the greatest country in the world, and just guide us and direct us and forgive us where we fail you. For it's in Jesus' name I pray. Amen. Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I want to welcome everybody here today. We've got quite a bit of business to get through. So, do we have any amendments to the agenda? All right, public input on non-agenda items. Anyone wishing to provide public comment, please fill out a comment card on table at the entrance to the commission chambers. Please note all comments on non-agenda items are limited to 3 minutes and/or the board's discretion. I didn't see any public comments on here other than on the public hearing, so we will take those right at the public hearing. But has anybody got any public comment other than something that's on the agenda?
Okay. Little new with this, like Kenny's in now.
What is this on? Yeah, you can hand them in to me. Is it on the mind?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I guess a public comment first, and then wait to talk on that ordinance. Is that how it's working?
But if it's all about mining, we'll do it all at that same time. This is coming right up next. So
Oh, so you want me to wait?
yes.
Okay.
All right. Random presentations or awards. All right. Number one is our public hearing. An ordinance amending the Glades County Code of Ordinance says amending Article B5 Supplemental Regulation Division 3 Special Exception Use Regulations by adding a new section 125-329 Mining and Mineral Extraction and Processing. I just want to, before we get into this, I just want everybody to kind of give you a heads up why we're doing this and why we're here. Right now, the Glades County does not have any ordinance whatsoever on mining or excavation. So there has been some processes coming in that are asking for mine. So this is not about any particular mine. It's about mining in the whole county. So it's an ordinance that's going to affect the whole county. So that's why it's being written. There's other things that can be added to this. But I want you to know this is not just on one particular mine. It's for the whole county. So that's why this is up here. So I guess if we want to, we can start right out with public comment. Mr. Bob Schultz, would you like to come up? We're going to limit public comment to 3 minutes today because I've got like 15 of them here. So try to speak your thoughts fast.
Okay, my name is Bob Schultz, 1213 North Swinging Trail. And I just, I'm shaking. I want to bring up just a couple points. Number one is that these mines really shouldn't be on county roads. That means they can't have it. They can't handle that traffic away. Shouldn't be going past the school. But the main reason is you're a county commissioner. We elect you. You're supposed to represent the people. You know? I know that's hard to understand because of the federal government. They don't represent us. And all the way down to the commissioner now, it seems like they don't represent us. Because we've got people that sign petitions, we've got people that come here, and those are just people that actually do something. Because if you just ask your neighbor, they don't want this mine, but they don't want to take time off of work or whatever to show up here, or whatever, you know? And I'm just saying, if you don't represent us, what do we do? What do we do if you don't represent us? You know, I just can't understand this. This is America, you know? You're to represent the people. And that's it. Okay? Thank you.
All right, Lynn Kilcorn. Take your name and address for the record.
Will do. It's Lynn Kilcoyne, 1728 Tom Coker Road in Hughes. And I'm brief. I know I'll be within the 3 minutes easy. I've been through a lot of these meetings. We spent a lot of time going on talking about each road and whether it would be allowed to have access by trucks or not. I mean, and then everybody voted on that. And then we went to another road and we just kept doing that for the longest time. And then I went to the public and zoning meeting, and it seems like everything was thrown out. And it was all about the ordinance, and they didn't talk about the trucks being able to access the roads. The school I just went by the other day, there were all these cars lined up there. I had to slow down. I'm thinking, what in the world is going to happen if we have these trucks going by? And, it's so dangerous for our children and their parents. It just was unfathomable to me. So I'm just really concerned. I mean, I'm not going to fight with anybody. I don't understand why I spend all this time. You guys are, putting a lot of time and effort into something just to have it all thrown out and turn it to something else. So thank you for this opportunity for input.
Thank you. Susan Stevens.
Good morning. It's up a little higher for me. Susan Stevens, 103 College Avenue, out of Tallahassee, Florida, from Stearns, Weaver, Miller, representing Steve Singletary. Commissioners, I just want, I agree with the point that this is a mining-wide ordinance. Mining is necessary for any building construction you have. You have to mine where the materials are. You can't mine where they're not. And the important thing to remember is without these regulations, these growth in the county, if it's going to happen, those trucks are going to be coming in. They're going to be coming in from outside of the county where you're not having the ability to put conditions on the mine operations, to put conditions on the trucks that can come in and out of that property, and to put conditions on the haul route. This mining ordinance has the bones to do all of that, to put conditions on the operation that control the trucks where you have the power to shut them down if they're not operating the way that you intend them to be. Any mine that comes before you as a site-specific application, you have the ability to condition it as needed if this ordinance is passed. Otherwise, you do not. If this ordinance is passed, you have the ability to look at the haul route and say it's appropriate or it's not. You have the ability to put conditions on it to assure that the citizens are protected, that their neighbors are protected, that off-site impacts are minimized or eliminated altogether. Without that, you have trucks coming into the county now with your mine materials. Any development that's happening now is coming from somewhere. It's coming from either an unregulated operation or it's coming from outside of the county. You have the ability now to adopt a mine-wide ordinance that sets the standards on how that's gonna happen in your county. Without that, you don't have that authority. You don't have the growth, you don't have the jobs, you don't have the tax revenue that can come from these operations, but that growth is coming from somewhere. If you don't have the materials mined here, they will be mined elsewhere, and you don't have that control. Thank you.
Steve Singletary. Just taking these in order I get them, I'm not picking any particular way here, so.
Secretary 1304, Lob Valley Bay Road. I think Ms. Stevens hit on it pretty well there. If we don't have an ordinance, it's coming from somewhere. So it's the same difference coming in as going out. But we have an ability there to make the rules. You guys do. So I just hope y'all consider that and thank you for your time.
Tina Ekblad.
Good morning, Commissioners. Tina Ekblad, Director of Planning with Stearns & Miller. I am a AICP certified planner. I don't want to belabor the point, but just please keep in mind that the ordinance today is for the entire county and regulating activities that are currently impacting the county coming from other places. I do want to drill down a little bit into what we advocated at the Planning and Zoning Board, which was to add the requirement for the Hall Road to be included in the special exception packet. Part of that was to address the comments that I anticipate you will hear about where the trucks are going to go in relation to these specific approvals. By incorporating the haul route into that application, it is required to be evaluated not only by staff, but also the Planning and Zoning Board and yourselves, so that, as Attorney Stevens pointed out, you can incorporate additional conditions, whether that be related to the operation of the facility, the drivers on the trucks, or additional maintenance on the roadway. That is in addition to the financial surety that is written into the ordinance, which also requires specific studies related to the number of trucks, but also the stability of the pavement and the roadway. Those things link together to make sure that the owner and operator of the potential mine is maintaining and or improving county roadways to specific standards. Without this ordinance, the county does not receive those benefits. And so today I would respectfully request that you consider the ordinance as written and adopt it to address the mining operations that are happening in the county. Thank you very much.
Diane Quigley.
Diane Quigley, 22 Sorrow, on in use. My husband and I bought our property in 2005, moving here from Naples. And as you know, loved it there, lived there a lot of years, but it got to the point where it just wasn't what we were looking for. And we came out here and we bought our place. It's taken us years to get it built and taken care of. And I saw what happened in Naples. I do not want to see that here. You can say what you want about Glades County, but in use, I just don't want to see what happened there to happen in my neighborhood. And basically, that's all I'm saying. But I thank you for being here.
Thank you. Paul Albert.
Good morning, my name is Paul Albert. I live in Alva, on property in Glades County. I do have intentions of building and moving to Glades County at some point in time. Mining, I've seen it all over abuse. When people don't have to get the correct you as a county, you gotta generate funds to operate. You gotta take care of the roads and everything else. You know, so they're gonna come in here regardless. So you gotta protect yourself. So I feel that, you know, the mines are gonna be here, but, you know, permit them correctly. And I'm here, you know, for Steve Singletary. You know, I've seen this gentleman do what he's done. I've been friends with him for 35 years. It's nothing but a class operation. When you permit a mine, you gotta control it 100%. You gotta control, you know, the roads. If he screws it up, if he tears it up, you know, fix it. You know, the sheriff's department's gotta control the trucks. But I feel it's inevitable, you know, it's coming. So if you don't generate your funds to take care of your county, those trucks are gonna come out here regardless. I see it all over. I have property in Henry County. I see it going on down there, nonstop. They're running. They're doing it down there, and they're not doing it the right way. But this gentleman has come in, he's followed with the permits, he's asked to do it the right way. You know, all these people out here that are against it, I look at his property. Look at what he's done. And I know this is not specifically what y'all are trying to achieve, but when you put an ordinance in, you gotta control yourself. You gotta take care of yourself. So I'm asking when y'all do this, because no, I don't live here now, but I'm gonna move here at some point in time. I got kids, I got grandkids. You know, Steve's got kids, he's got grandkids. And, you know, we wanted a good, quiet, small community. But we also want y'all to be able to produce and take care of the community, to have funds to take care of that community. But, you know, if you sit here and all of you are used to it, and you watch these trucks go by, y'all ain't for that opinion. But, you know, at least if we're gonna have a mine, let's do it the right way. Thank you.
Thomas Prince, is that correct?
My name is Thomas Prince. I live at 1263 Sunset Trail, right there in LaBelle and Hughes. And I don't see what the problem is with the ordinance. Looks like this, we get control and we get a revenue stream. I'd way rather have, you know, Steve down there that I stopped off and talked to if I had any problems with trucks or concerns about trucks, and got an open door policy. You just go in there and tell the old boy, say, hey, you know, we got a concern here. I think they're going to come regardless, either way. I'd rather see us be able to have somewhat control and catch the revenue off of it. That's my two cents. Thank you very much.
Austin Smile.
Good morning. I'm back. Connie Lodge, 1443 Summerall Road in LaBelle. I am here to continue the plea for no mining access to all county roads. I am submitting a small pictorial sample of the damage incurred on Crescent Avenue. The entire road is a series of potholes, years in the making. Muse has its own pothole, getting larger with passing traffic as residents try to dodge the poorly patched area. I asked the county to be proactive because reactive hasn't been working. I think of the people in Cape Coral with their foolish government who for years suffer from the lack of water pressure, always in the news with water trickling from their faucets. Yet their government decided car washes on every corner was a ticket to city prosperity. Finally, realizing the money made from the water draining away could not compensate for the water being shipped in, they shut down the building of new car washes. Is it possible that our government is thinking the same way, that a mine on every corner is the ticket to prosperity, when we have hard evidence of road costs to the county that cannot be sustained? As an agricultural county, there is enough heavy traffic running on county roads. We do not need the extra industrial traffic on them as well. Fix our county roads proactively. Do not continue to ignore the realities before you. It is unaffordable, yet still avoidable. Endorse no mining access to county roads. Thank you. And these are the pictures that I am submitting. There's set of 4. You need a drone just to go down that road, take a whole road. But here we go. Thank you very much.
Gerald Roberts.
Gerald Roberts, 1233 Tom Coker Road, Bell. I understand you guys are trying to get control of traffic and mines and stuff, and I keep hearing this prosperity stuff. And I'm going to ask each and every, ask you as a group, what are we going to benefit money-wise the county from this mine?
I haven't seen any documentation of it like that.
Where do we get taxes? I mean, are we going to get taxes from it? I know it's ag, and it's probably not going to be much. So, and I understand that you want to control it, get control of it. So, this is for down the road. Think about what it's going to cost each and every person sitting in here when they have to pay more in taxes to fix the roads and everything else coming in. I understand he wants to make money and everything, and that's not a bad thing, but let's make sure that we're going to get something out of it. Thank you.
Richard Sobel.
Morning, thank you. My name is Richard Sobel, 2230 Silver Lake Road in Mobile, Florida. I just want to ask, well, not ask, I want to make a statement. I read the ordinance as it stood before, and then I read the new ordinance as it stands. The major thing that I'm looking at is that the part about county roads and school zones was in the old ordinance, it's not in the new ordinance. If you look at the hauling route that they're talking about, it's going to pass right by West Glades School. We're talking, from what I read, it's 50 trucks per day times there and back, it's 100 trucks times 4 to 5 routes per day. We're talking about 700, 800, 900 trucks per day passing right by West Glades School. What I'm asking you to do is look at that issue. Look at the issue that a mine, okay, mines have to go someplace. I understand that we have to have construction. But this mine that they're talking about now is poorly conceived. It's put in an area that's on a county road with 2 big S-turns that are going to have to be made, going down and then past the school zone. Right now, as people have stated and I'll state, I've been passed by dump trucks in that school zone. I slow down to 35 miles an hour, they pass me in the turn-in lane to the school. Look, think about your children. Think about your grandchildren, people keep talking about. This is not safe. So what I want you to do is look at the old ordinance, fine, the new ordinance. I understand we want to control mines potentially in our county, but mines in that are going to go, have trucks going through the school zone should be no. Thank you very much.
Okay. Stephen Jewell.
Good morning, Stephen Jewell, 2272 Silver Lake Road. My wife and I moved up here recently, a couple years ago, from Naples, as the other neighbors. It got too busy. We're getting busier here, and I realize that's going to happen. We're looking at something that's really close to our home. We look for a peaceful rural town, and we found just what we wanted. It is, it's exactly that. We were told by the realtor that it was zoned ag and residential, and that's what we wanted. They said it would never happen. Let's change that. Someone wants to change my life. This thing is a mine that is coming. It's a mile and a half down and a mile over, or if you take the hypotenuse of that,
You're less than a mile away from my house. Noise, working at nights, lighting up the atmosphere with floodlights, working at night. It's a peaceful thing now. You can't hear anything. We will be able to hear it. I'm sure they're going to run a fine line. I don't understand the fact that anyone would come into a facility against the wishes of all of their neighbors. I would say all of their neighbors, a majority of their neighbors, I'm sure, to do something that is not, doesn't make sense, doesn't make monetary sense for the county, I don't believe. I believe that most of everything will go right across the road over to Henry. I think it's wrong. I hope that you just do not approve the change. Thank you.
All right, I've got one here from Danny Callahan that's requesting for me to read this into the record or somebody, so I guess that would be me. I think I can read this in 3 minutes. All right, I would like to, this is from Danny Callahan, 1366 Oak Avenue, LaBelle, Florida. I would like to address the hornet's nest situation regarding any mining on county roads. It's no secret that the movement of Bay Shore Farms to a small community has caused great discontentment towards the business and ownership. As this discussion of mining access to the county roads comes to a head, county officials need to take into account the pros and cons of any such actions. To do such, you have to take all considerations into account. As for myself, I took many internal arguments regarding property rights. I eventually came to the conclusion that I'm not in favor of any mining to be allowed to have direct access to county roads. I'm also extremely against the proposed mining use. Throughout my military and firefighting careers, it has been ingrained through training in real-life situations to base decisions on risk management. I have concluded, using probability versus severity risk management process, that all mining increases the probability of a multitude of issues dramatically, as well as severity of each probability. In normal circumstances, these could be mitigated by implementing control measures. However, the mining applicant likely doesn't understand or doesn't care that such a small county government and tax base hasn't the resources like the large counties they are used to dealing with. I recall the comments of a Glades County resident and county commissioner candidate. Make a comment, paraphrase, we shouldn't blame a company because of its clientele. Everyone should understand it's a cause and effect. If the BOCC would please be patient, I would like to address some cause and effect as well as probability of versus severity items to think about when making such a dramatic change on the community and its residents. Probability very high if Bayshore Farms or another mining application is approved to access county roads, you would open floodgates that affects every landowner in Glades County to file for the same. Dirt under your land is money. Everyone will want their share. Mitigation measures, none, unless bias and unethical behavior by county government exists. Probability very high, increased heavy truck traffic. Effects, as roads are likely based on 30-year serviceability and measured regarding the traffic based on their use at the time, the impact of the increased truck traffic on already outdated roads would place an enormous burden on the asphalt surface, 16 times more damage than the asphalt's intended use, therefore causing the county financial burdens it is unable to afford. Severity high, any asphalt and or right-of-way damage caused by truck traffic will likely cause increased traffic accidents, therefore causing a chain reaction of increased emergency response in the area, therefore increasing emergency services shortages everywhere. Mitigation, there are several ways the county can enforce upon the applicant to ensure financial guarantee to repair or replace asphalt. Probability extreme, noise and light pollution. Whereas every without exception mining operation in the world has a huge effect upon the local populations due to noise and light pollution caused by equipment use, lasting needs, trucks, traffic. Mitigation, county can establish many ordinances to mitigate some pollution factors. However, due to the proximity of the mine to the residential properties, it would be a minimal effect. Commissioners, I could go on and on about all the negative actions that happen if the mining gets approved to access at county roads. Even more negative actions regarding the Bayshore Farms mine due to the proximity of a school. My words would be something you've heard many times. Do your research and look at what the county gets out of my time's up. So, there was only one more sentence, but anyway, we have a 3-minute rule. So next up would be Diane C. and Franny. This will go into the record too. So.
Good morning, commissioners. Diane Sean Franny, 1582 Gate Road in Muse. I'm here representing property rights for most of the residents, not most, 144 residents in Muse. I have a declaration that says I declare my opposition to mines, dirt pits, sand pits, etc., if that it would approve and permit what access Glades County roads, and most particularly one planned Bayshore Farms in Muse. I don't think the community of Muse is against mines. Yes, we do need them, but we don't need them in a residential area where it's a beautiful place to live. There's a study out there that our roads are not capable of taking the dump trucks. So now when you put dump trucks on there and you have all this going back and forth, it destroys the beauty of our community. Mines are not an asset to you all. It's a liability. We make no money. And even if you put in there a bond for the insurance company to pay for the roads, have you ever seen one pay off $15 million? Highly unlikely. They're not going to pay off. Even though they say they will, we don't have anybody that can enforce the speed limits out there, going past the schools. There's so much out of this ordinance that needs to go in there. And you originally asked for an ordinance that no trucks were going on county roads. That's what you all asked for, and it's not there. And I'd ask each and every one of you, would you like to live next to a mining operation? Think about our community, our residents, and what we're going through. I can't believe I'm even here fighting for this. It seems like a no-brainer that this all came about. With the area we have, this ordinance needs to be corrected, and we can help you with it. Thank you.
Okay.
Oh, here's your 144. They wanted me to read the names. It would take me more than 3 minutes. So here's the declaration.
Leave that with the clerk.
Okay. And I also have petitions of 169 in the Tacrell, which we'll be bringing in up at a later date.
Thank you. Very much.
Good morning, and thank you for the opportunity to be here. First, I come to you as a Glades County citizen, having lived here my entire life. But I'd like to also let you know that I come here as a retired educator. I've taught in this county, and I've been a principal of 2 schools in this county, and I started West Glades 20 years ago. I'm highly concerned. I want to just approach it from the 2 areas of I'm concerned about the trucks being there in front of the school, and that the roads themselves would not be very safe. I've been politicking a little bit, so I've actually stood out there and waved my sign, and in the course of from 7:25 until 8 o'clock, there are over 80 vehicles that go by in that amount of time. And if you were to add a few more minutes to each end of that, and you consider everyone who's going to work, there's like 120 vehicles that are going in and out at just that one time, area of time. Now, the roads look okay there, but it's already an issue because there's so many people who I guess at times are pulling off the side of the road in a line. I haven't seen that. I caught a couple days that was beautiful, but it's obvious that it has been an issue because of the wear and tear on the side of the road. I don't want students to be part of that, even though it would be their parents driving. I heard, and this was at a location where I just heard somebody from a distance, don't even know who it was, but they made the comment that trucks had been going by the schools in Moorhaven for years and years. Well, I'd like to look at that. That is true. I would say that even though trucks have gone by the schools in Moorhaven for many years, it's been a very much more safe situation. First of all, it's a state road. It's a road that was created and maintained for heavy, heavy loads and not built to the specs of ours. And the other thing, those schools were 1 block and 2 blocks away from a state road, not 30 yards from a county road. I do believe that makes it look a little different. I'm when we look at children, we have to look at safety over education. And it's not over education, it's before education. So my job for years and years was to maintain the safety of my children and then make sure they were educated. I'd ask that you would consider that when you vote on this ordinance. Thank you.
Thank you. Steve Dobbs.
Steve Dobbs. I am an engineer and I am your chairman of your planning zoning board, and I wanted to come up today and explain the rationale behind the planning board's, some of the planning board decisions, and you'd be here to answer some questions if you had any. Mr. Wooden was at the meeting, but I know that when they talk about county roads and all this kind of stuff, I feel like we put stuff in there to bring the road from the access of the mine to wherever a major collector is, to that stability, okay? DOT has stability indexes for roads, okay? So we would bring from whatever that mine is at the applicant's cost, by the way, which would be extremely expensive for them to come in and do that, up to that major collector. The other one was the school zone, and there's basically 2 school zones in Glades County. And you have the one here, and I don't know how you distinguish between school zones on a highway versus a smaller county road. And so anyway, those were things in there that gave me great concern. I've done a number of mines around, and one of the things that I do know is that material, and one of the instances that I talked about when they were talking about, not going through a subdivision is, if you look in Okeechobee County, on the west side of Kissimmee River, there are probably 6 or 7 mines within 3 miles that have harvested shell out of that area. And, so I've never seen anybody do anything on the east side of that line, but I would hate to think that there's shell on the east side of that line that the county would not be able to harvest, for the growth of that we see coming to Glades County right now. And so those were some of the rationale that we had, and some of the changes that we made were unanimous within the planning board, that we made in there and all that kind of stuff. The final decision wasn't unanimous, but the changes that we made in there were unanimous. So, like I said, I know I've only got 3 minutes, and if you have questions about what we did, I'd be happy to answer it. But if not, I've just said my piece.
Thank you. Thank you. We may ask you questions later when we get in this.
That's fine. I'm right here.
Donna Leonard.
Hello, I'm Donna Lane. I live at 2007 Muse Road, Lavelle, Florida. I live in Muse, and I've been concerned about all this stuff that's been going on with mine. I don't want to be the dead horse. Everyone said the same thing about the roads, and I can't say a whole lot more different than what they've all said already. But I just was wondering, how would you make the person who is doing the mine, how do you make them pay to get the road fixed? Once they say they're going to, how do you make them do that? Can anyone tell me?
Well, that will be brought up in our discussion after this, but I'm sure it's going to be through a surety bond or some sort. But you'll be hearing a lot of that later in this discussion.
Oh, okay. And I was also wanting to find out, I was told that he has signed up for 50 loads a day.
I haven't seen no applications at all from the line. This is about the ordinance, but I don't know any particulars on what.
As far as the traffic goes, I was told that in order to make a profit off of the dirt, you would need to do more than 50 loads a day. It would need to be more like 200 loads a day. And that would be a lot of traffic on these roads that are already being taxed. That's the only thing I have to say. Thank you.
Thank you. All right. Our next one is John Williamson, which he's not here, and he wants me to read, and I know I can get this in 3 minutes. So it said, the Glades County Board of County Commissioners, I want to state my opposition of any mining ordinance that would allow haul trucks to go through school zones via county-maintained road. As well, due to the cost of the repair of county-maintained roads that are destroyed by excessively heavy loads of dirt or sand, I voice my opposition to allowing commercial mining operations that would access onto county roads. The Glades County Planning and Zoning Board and the Board of County Commissioners, I want it to be understood that I am completely opposed to the ideal or possibility of a mine being allowed just north of the Muse venue, or the Mudge venue. I know that there are 200 cars offloading children each morning at West Glades School, and that many again picking up students each school day afternoon. The roads along that planned haul route are narrow and they do not have paved shoulders, allowing gross numbers of fully loaded and empty dump trucks to use these use area roads should not even be a discussion due to how unsafe those roads will be with that dump truck activity. To the BOC, please correct the extreme deficiencies with the mine ordinance and please vote down the applications that have been submitted by Bayshore Farms. Respectfully submitted, John Williamson, July 29, 2024. Longtime resident and public servant of Muse. Okay. Yvonne Dahl, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Good.
Yvonne Dahl, 1060 County Road 731. Looks like we're here again. So I have a question for you guys. How many of you have actually been to take in the route past West Glades? And down past the Mudge? So I agree, and Jimmy as well, that we need an ordinance. Schools are off limits, and county roads should be as well. I don't know how else to say it. A lot of the people that you've heard from today, they don't live in Muse. I mean, let's face it. They're coming, and they're going to not protect our quiet enjoyment. They've come there to, I guess they like the area. I don't know, but now we're going to have to swallow the loss of, and I'm getting off topic. So I think it's imperative that we have an ordinance that does not allow access to county roads and no school zones. How it got changed, except for the fact that the attorney was not at that planning and zoning meeting, he wasn't at the next commission meeting, and I don't mean to be disrespectful, but I think that's very, very important. I think it would have been less complicated and confusing if maybe he would have been there, but I'm not going to harp on that. I feel like having an empty seat, I think Ms. Donna would probably be jumping up and down right now. And I am here to say that we are going to miss her terribly, because I feel like many, many times she kept our feet planted firmly on the ground. And I don't think she would have approved of this. That vacated seat worries me big time. We're expecting you guys to protect it. Protect our schools, our county road, and our quiet enjoyment that now y'all know that bottleneck's coming down to our corner. And I'm not sure if you guys know where we live, but on the corner of Whidden, across from the Sodrell building. I guess you call it the West Glades Center, on the corner of the county line and Whidden. And most of the time, Jimmy and I are the first responders, because Glades County can't get there for 45 minutes. Well, now recently, and you guys probably don't even want to hear this, we're picking up bottles of feces off the side of the road that these trucks are throwing out the window as they pass by our corner. And yes, we see the traffic every day, and we've put up with produce traffic forever. I mean, that's who we are. We have no problem with produce, watermelons, 6Ls, all of them. Okay, well, I did the math. 3 trucks per minute to get 5 million tons off that land in 5 years. So thank you.
Thank you. Linda Schultz.
Smith Schultz, 1213 North Swinging Trail in Muse. I'm asking you as the county commissioners to do what's right so that this mine ordinance is prepared with the people in mind, what the people are asking you to do. I understand you want the community to grow, and that's fine. But at the detriment of our community and our water, if a mine of that size goes through that area, which our property butts up to the back of it, that's going to be a detriment of our water supply, our ecosystem, and a lot of other things that go with something of this sort. Mines are fine if you want to put them in a non-residential area, but this is a residential agricultural area, and we'd like it to remain that. Thank you for your consideration.
Thank you. Amanda Baker.
Hi, good morning. I've been here before. I haven't met you, Mr. Pringle, but nice to see you. I'm going to speak a little bit to the ordinance.
Name and address for the record.
Oh, I'm sorry, Amanda Baker, 641 Loblolly Bay Road, LaBelle. Speak a little bit to the ordinance. I know it's coming, we need one, we agree, right? But in reading the document, which is a work in progress, it keeps changing, it's been revised, and it continues to be. I want to make sure that we've landed on the distance between mines, because there is concern they're going to overload us, right? And you're going to ruin, you're going to, it is an effect to our property values. My call to, and the Muse mine is a different issue. Well, I can talk about that later. But the ordinance itself, a lot of these mines, there are mines operating now, right? A lot of them are with the large landowners, and they've come in and they're on ag property, and they've gotten a zoning permit from you to pull dirt. Is that correct? Is that correct? And then they're responsible for their road getting the trucks out, right? So this ordinance has come along, and if I read it correctly, it looks that if a mine is approved, and then let's say it's a 60 or 70 acre, and then they want to make it an 80 acre, well, they can do that with Ms. Bouchon's approval. Now, is that correct or not? Does it require the Board of County Commissioners? Because I did not read that. I just read that the county director, and I think that's Mrs. Bouchon, right, could do that. And then there were changes made to the buffering zone, and there was definite confusion on P and Z, because some people thought that some people on P and Z, I believe, didn't understand what those changes were. I'm not sure that I understand fully, except that we reverted to the state of Florida's definition of what could be done. So we're kicking it to the state. And my argument was that what happens in Ocala is not necessarily suitable for Glades. So that was another question that I had that I'm not sure about. The other question is monitoring. Well, we barely have enough people to monitor and to keep our roads mowed and our ditches clean and all that kind of stuff, because we're a little county. So these mines, they're supposed to monitor, but collecting the data is one thing, but who gets the data? Us. Who do we have that we're paying extra to check all that stuff prior to having a problem, right? Because if something's going to go bad as far as mining goes, I mean, are we doing that for all the mines, or are we just doing that for mines that we're putting in residential areas? This is another area that I'm not too sure about. You've been working on this a long time, and we haven't, and I got into it a little bit late. So I haven't followed the documents since the first day they started on planning and zoning. But these are questions that I have, and I definitely would feel that if we're going to have a mining ordinance and then changes are going to be requested by a mine owner, then I would think that the Board of County Commissioners should be the ones that had the final say. Do you know what I mean? Rather than a county employee. I don't know. I mean, who's qualified to make that decision? And
Time's running.
Yeah, I know, I'm sorry. All right, as far as the Muse Mine goes, if we are now, as I'm told, making comments on the Muse Mine at the same time as we're making comments on this, my problem with the Muse Mine is simply the zoning, the location. It's a residential ag property, changing it to ag and adding all this, which is a strain to us. According to RE/MAX in Fort Myers, it's a 0.25% impact negative to our property. So to do that, with Donna Storer saying absolutely no mines in use, too many residents. Okay, so that's basically my problem with that. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. I got another one here. Carl and Marnie Abramson doesn't give a address. But anyway, it says, my name is Carlton Abramson. My wife Marnie and I live on Apache Road in the beautiful Muse in Glades County. We originally grew up in around Fort Myers area starting in the late 60s, early 70s. Boy, howdy, back then the San Carlos area was considered rural. Never putting much thought to it back then. We watched the trucks come and go down Alico Road, dirt road back then, one load after another. Along with the trucks came the suburban crawl, and before you knew it, all the dirt roads got paved and over, and all the vacant lots built on. I remember hearing Mom and Dad complaining about the dump trucks in and around San Carlos back then, and now it seems to have come full turn on my wife and me. My wife and I finally got our calling and sold the house we built in San Carlos and bought a beautiful small place in Heaven and Muse. We have been here now going on 3 years and have plans on getting out of our double wide and building a new home in the exact same place. Please don't let our dreams of retiring out here go down the drain by letting these folks do their mining. Please do not let these trucks tear out our roads and destroy the beautiful wildlife that runs free here. Please help protect our dreams of watching our grandkids grow up and enjoy what we do as well. Please help keep Muse Muse. Sincerely, Carlton and Marnie Abramson. And we got one more, Miss Ellen Beers.
Ellen Beers, 1211 Catamount Road News. Good morning, Commissioners. I think today you're hearing a lot of very premature comments being made that don't have anything to do with this actual ordinance. Unfortunately, our council wasn't there, so I had a number of questions that went into this. And I'm hoping that you will find those same types of questions. I understand to a point where people are coming from, but they also have to realize that that property had been rezoned years ago, and you're looking at the potential of well over 1,000 homes on that property. Just simple. 1,000 homes, you're looking at 1,500 cars. The average of 2.3 kids per family, you're looking at 2,000 kids coming from one track. Okay, what are we going to do with them? You know, this is an instant income. These are things that people just are not thinking about. What are we going to do with people? People are coming. They're coming inland. And, I think people are being unfair because they're hearing rumors, they're hearing this, and we have never seen an application from the Planning and Zoning Board. So we have no true documentation as of what the intent is. So until we see that, we can't make any choices, and hopefully people are understanding that this regulations, these rules, this ordinance is for the entire county. Whether it's up in Roxbury, it's out in Buckhead, it's anywhere, Horseshoe Acres. It's not just Muse. This is going to affect everybody. It's going to affect Palmdale. Okay? And I hopefully you can see through that and understand that, like you say, it's for everybody. And, the way the county is set up, we are limited with our roadways. So most of the roadways are county roadways. We can't control that. Okay? So, thank you.
Do we have any more? I got another one here from Alan Grant, 2048 Sunset Trail, LaBelle, Florida. Says planning and zoning from Alexander Grant, Bayshore Farms mine application. To whom it may concern, I'm totally opposed to the approval of any application that will allow commercial mines to operate with access to county roads. There should be an ordinance prohibiting such access to all Glades County roads, and those haul trucks should be prohibited from traveling through school zones. The detrimental effects of such approval on our roads on the personal safety of our citizens traveling these roads far exceed any possible advantages. Thank you for considering my very concerned opinion. Sincerely yours, Alex Grant. All right, do we have any other public comment before we get into this? Mr. McLaughlin.
Good morning, DJ McLaughlin, 1311 Crisdale Muse. I have two here that I'd like to have read into the record this morning. One from myself and one from my wife Robin, who could not be here today because of medical concerns. So what I'd like to do is read, or have you read it, make it
You can
different.
read it if you wrote it.
All right, but there's copies for the four commissioners. I'll do some of my auctioneering and get through this real fast. My name is DJ McLaughlin. I want to communicate my general and specific opposition to the ordinance being considered in today's public hearing. General opposition. From January 22nd of this year until late June, the residents of Glades County were of the understanding that staff was developing an ordinance that would prohibit new mines being permitted, approved, when those mines access onto county roads. Please modify the draft ordinance to prohibit mines that would access county roads. Second, though we do not completely understand why P&Z was involved in developing the ordinance that the BOCC directed by a 3-to-1 vote on January 22nd, we take absolute objection to how the Bayshore Farms mine-related application, Mr. Singletary, the Bayshore Farms planner, and the Bayshore Farms attorney were able to participate in the development